Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with a roadmap update, kind of, a lack of one almost. CIG posted a roadmap roundup with nothing in the way of updates on the actual roadmap, but they explained that that's because 3.24 and 4.0 are on track, and they have big changes coming to the roadmap soon, and how far it goes out. So there was a moderate amount of backlash and confusion about this. We've been waiting for quite a while for CIG to do an expanded roadmap update. CIG's Jake Acapella did come in and answered a load of questions, giving more context to what's going on as well. So let's delve into this and an update to what's actually going on with Alpha 4.0, that major patch of 2024 that we're expecting by the end of the year. So in the roadmap roundup update, every 2 weeks we accompany the roadmap update with a brief explanation note to give you insight into the decision making that led to any changes. This is part of an effort to make our communications more transparent, more specific, and more insightful for all of you who help to make Star Citizen and Squadron 42 possible. While we don't have a release view update today, which as a reminder means things are progressing as planned / displayed on the roadmap, we do want to address the lack of updates to the progress tracker. We're eager to update this view so you can see the extensive tasks our team are working on. Just for a bit of extra context here, the progress tracker tracks what all the development teams are working on, all the sort of projects they're on, not necessarily for a particular release of a patch, but they'll be like working on particular ships, they'll be working on particular features, and you can see where the development time is spent from those development teams, and that will give you a good understanding of what CIG are working on, how long it's going to be for certain things, roughly. I mean, there could be a load of other stuff that then goes into finishing off a feature or whatever, but it just sort of tells you what those teams are working on. And CIG have been saying for a few months now that they're going to be giving us some big updates for that progress tracker and a look beyond 4.0, beyond 2024. And I suppose we're also potentially expecting some further out release view updates as well, so we can see what's in patch 4.1 and beyond. CIG continued with the big push to release 4.0 and Squadron 42 reaching its feature complete milestone. Our resources have had to shift around as new needs arise at an increased frequency than in the past. This created a significant challenge in maintaining the progress tracker. The team is working to push Squadron 42 towards the finish line while balancing this with ensuring Star Citizen receives new features, content and updates. At this stage of development, especially with such a big focus on Squadron 42 polish, developers or even entire teams may need to shift focus quickly when necessary work presents itself. This dynamic approach is different from our usual internal flow and has required a bit more flexibility and nimble nature. Despite this, our production team has a plan to update the progress tracker very soon. They are currently working on populating the roadmap to better represent our global workload, starting with content being worked on through the end of 2024 and then soon after into 2025. Once the update to the progress tracker is ready, we'll mention it ahead of time in a This Week in Star Citizen scheduled post preceding the publish. We sincerely appreciate your patience and understanding. It's an exciting time for both games, and we look forward to sharing more details with you soon. I'm actually quite excited for an expanded roadmap, them coming and showing off, bam, this is coming, this is what the teams are working on, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, really they're talking about the progress tracker and going, these teams are working on this and the planned time they're going to be working on it, or it's going to be completed for this particular feature is X date. So when we get this first big update, it will probably go, look at all the features the dev teams are working on. Oh, they look like they finish at the end of 2024. No, it will be that's when they've cut off what they're showing us, and then there'll be a bigger update into 2025 later. But it will still be useful to see what the devs are working on, and obviously we'll see lots of features end and be completed before 2024. There were a load of questions on Reddit and Spectrum about these sort of updates and CIG, what's going on with some of this. CIG's Jake Acapella actually gave some more insight and replied to these, so let's go over what is effectively some questions and answers. Squadron 42 reaching its feature complete milestone. I thought this was reached 8 months ago, or is it just worded awkwardly and means to say something like Squadron 42 being in its post-feature complete state, ? Jake Acapella replied here, It was, apologies for the wording confusion, due to reaching that milestone, many of the resources and teams were relocated, both to strike teams to begin polish work on Squadron 42, as well as resources moving back over to Star Citizen. This caused challenges in maintaining the progress tracker, as these resources have been especially fluid and reactive since that point. CIG are basically saying, look, we are finishing off Squadron 42, and the nature of how we're developing Star Citizen as a live sort of game, as well as it being an alpha, as well as trying to develop towards a 1.0 goal, we need to have at least some of the development teams pretty agile and mobile. Now, I don't see why they can't maintain a progress tracker at the same time as that, because they're putting it from the internal JIRAs and stuff like that. Well, we know what the teams are working on because they've moved on to another project. They've stopped doing this one. You could literally have an on hold. But I suppose maybe they want this to look super professional, and yeah, maybe they just want to have a better way of showing us some of this stuff and have some more features on the progress tracker. That is me being very generous. Someone did ask the question, would it make sense to archive the current progress tracker and start fresh with the new teams and new tasks? Again, Jake responds here, this is something being discussed currently. Happy to hear y'all's thoughts on keeping the old data set versus not. From my point of view, actually, as long as we actually have somewhere to be able to see the old repository of data, so that I want to be able to see the old set of data, I want to be able to see where we've come from and where we're going to, and all that sort of jazz. I don't want stuff to be pasted over and not be able to get that data in the future. That would be annoying. Another question. You said the team is working on populating the roadmap, starting with content being worked on through the end of 2024 and then soon after into 2025. Does that mean that we will get the 2024 update first and then some days, weeks, months later, the 2025 update? Or is 2024 being held up until both parts are ready? And Jake Acapella said the former. So we're going to get 2024 update going on to the end of the year, and then a 2025 update later. Another comment, it feels like CIG is dropping the ball bit by bit. Like, what even is that last paragraph? We have no way to display how we currently operate, but we're going to update the progress tracker very soon. I hope that means they found a good way of managing that. Can't wait for the 3.24 and 4.0 live Q3, hoping to explore Pyro soon. Jake responded, it does. It's been challenging to find a solution, but we've got one and we're working towards it now. Another question / comment here as well. I was excited when we saw a shift of focus towards Star Citizen and away from Squadron 42 a while back. I'm not surprised that the polish phase of Squadron 42 is requiring teams to return to working on that instead of focusing on Star Citizen. It's disappointing, but understandable. Perhaps they aren't stoked to publicise how much the teams are returning to Squadron 42. Jake responded to this as well. Not exactly accurate. Strike teams were created for Squadron 42 shortly after this announcement. Almost every team was reformed into specific groups for both games once this happened. The movement I referenced in the post is referring to the changes last year, which has necessitated a far greater degree of reactivity from all teams across both projects. A side effect of this is that it has made the progress tracker challenging to update. Hopefully that makes sense. So I like the fact that Jake took to the forums and basically responded to a load of the questions and people's comments there, because we are waiting on a big updated roadmap, and when we don't have the progress tracker, when we don't have a big part of what CIG are working on, it doesn't make sense that they're not updating it for us, right? It doesn't make sense that they're going, well, we'll give you an update later. It should be a priority for them to put something together, even if it's just temporary, showing what the teams are working on. Why can't they use the old stuff? And it's, I suppose they're saying, look, we're doing development in a bit of a different way. We've changed a load of the names of the teams. We need to update that progress tracker to be in line with the new stuff, and it is coming. Sorry that's taken so long. I'm really interested to know what your thoughts are on that. Are you quite happy with CIG going, yeah, actually they've made huge progress this year with 3.24 about to come out and 4.0 coming out later on this year? Or are you like, well, they should have this progress tracker out by now, all these updates. It's super important. It shouldn't be taking this long. Yeah, where's your mind at with all this? Also, in regards to Alpha 4.0, what are we expecting? Well, roughly it's supposed to release end of Q3, though I'm expecting it to be more of a Q3/Q4 release, end of year release, potentially even. Like, yeah, 4.0, I'm not expecting any other major patches for the rest of the year other than 4.0. You might have like a 4.0.x patch by the end of the year, something like that, with a few more fixes and features. That's my expectation. Interested to know what yours is. What are we actually getting from that patch? Well, at the moment, server meshing version 1, which is going to also have a refactor of a ton of game systems, including the missions and transit systems and that sort of stuff, but server meshing should mean loads more players in a single shard, and you have the star systems connected to each other via jump points as well, so you'll be able to move between Stanton and Pyro while effectively being on the same shard. You've got a huge amount of gameplay area with the planets in Pyro and hazards in Pyro, like the solar burst and stations, and tons of missions and content there. There's the new colonial outposts too. There's the quasi-grazer, space cow. There's engineering systems for ships, so this is repair, power management, physical components, ship circuitry, also life support systems, lots of actual multi-crew updates. Expect big updates to master modes and ship combat and balance, and loads of stuff with that. Additional player customization, so you can create your character with a load more cool looking stuff. There's new ships, well, at least one new ship that we know of, the Zeus Mark II ES is going to be here, but expect a load more. There are updates to multi-tools with batteries for that and cutting, and there's the charge and drain mechanics, which allow you to deal with things like distortion damage. There's fire hazards and fire extinguishers. And there is likely to be a ton of other bits and bobs turning up as well. Oh, I forgot the, I think there's MFD reworks and sort of new displays being updated as well. But yeah, more missions, more ships, more animals potentially, and there's potential for a ton of new features as well to be deployed, including things like a much better version of Vulcan and the push towards the new planet tech stuff. Anyway, that's what we're sort of expecting, and potentially a load more for 4.0. And yeah, expect it by the end of the year, and some updates to that by the end of the year to get it into a better place. But I wouldn't expect like 4.1 in like December or anything like that. It's going to be very much 4.0 and then 4.0.x sort of patches. But where are you with that? What do you think? What are you expecting? What additional features are you expecting? What additional ships do you think are going to be turning up? Are you really looking forward to 3.24, that cargo patch, which is going to be potentially released by the end of the month to live? Or are you all about 4.0? Whatever your thoughts or questions, please chuck them in the comments below. I'm a futuristic cyborg sent back in time for one purpose. Give me your boots, your jacket, and your nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Get NordVPN if you want to live on the internet. It's the only thing that will protect you against Skynet and my Terminator impression. It gives you greater accessibility, security, and privacy on the internet as well. You should use the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For July, we're giving away a Constellation Taurus. This workhorse allows you to do some solid cargo running, as well as some combat and room for a small crew. It's just a great all-round mission runner and awesome ship to experience Star Citizen with. This comes with access to the game and lifetime insurance as well. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July. Each video is another chance to win. More details in the description below. Please consider supporting the channel with the join button under my videos, or via Patreon, links below to all of that. It goes a long way in helping us to be able to make daily Star Citizen content and Zin's lore videos, all that sort of jazz. Thank you so much to all the glorious members that already do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can always help as well by sharing, liking, subscribing, and getting involved in the comments section. And thank you very much for those of you that watched to the end. It is appreciated.